Welcome to the JBS News Update for Friday, January 23, 2015. I'm Ron Jacobsohn, sitting in for Tisha Bader. As the world was mourning the passing of the Saudi Arabian monarch King Abdullah, it was quite surprising that official Israel eulogized the Saudi king too. Israeli President Reuven mourned the late Saudi monarch, praising his regional policies, this despite the fact that Israel and Saudi Arabia does not have diplomatic relations. The king was an example of grounded, considered, and responsible leadership with a deep religious tradition, Rivlin said in a statement. Former President Shimon Peres also hailed the late president, lamenting his passing as a real loss for the peace of the Middle East. The new king is 78-year-old Salman, who is considered a man of dialogue, who always preferred to solve problems amicably and is very much admired by Western leaders. Has the already strained relationship between Israel and the U.S. sunk to a new low? Haaretz newspaper reports that an unnamed U.S. official said, "Netanyahu spat in our face, there will be a price." President Obama, Vice President Biden, and Secretary of State Kerry all plan to shun Israeli Prime Minister during his visit to Washington in March and not meet him in person. Furthermore, Obama has sent a very clear message to Netanyahu: stop pushing Congress towards new sanctions on Iran. A senior American official who asked to remain anonymous due to the diplomatic sensitivity of the issue said Obama gave Netanyahu this message during a telephone call last Monday. Obama also warned Netanyahu not to meddle in the battle he is waging against Congress over the sanctions legislation. The official said this warning was issued more than a week before Speaker of the House John Boehner publicly invited Netanyahu to address a joint session of Congress. Netanyahu's address, which will take place at the height of the battle between Obama and the Republican-controlled Congress, is expected to focus on the Iranian nuclear issue and what he sees as the need to ratchet up the pressure on Iran. "We thought we've seen everything," a senior American official said, "but Bibi managed to surprise even us. There are things you simply don't do. He spat in our face publicly, and that's no way to behave. Netanyahu ought to remember that President Obama has a year and a half left to his presidency and that there will be a price." This next report is so outrageous, it is hard to take it seriously. A former Dutch cabinet minister reportedly said that world peace would be achievable only if Israel's population will be forced to move to the United States. The statement is attributed to Herman Heinsbroek, who served as the Netherlands Minister of Economic Affairs in 2002, in an article that appeared in this week's prestigious financial monthly, quote, "It was an historical error to give the Jews their own country in the middle of Islam," he is quoted as saying. "You've had nothing but war ever since, and you've had anti-Semitism resurging too. My idea, give the Jews their own state somewhere in the United States and 25 years to move their state over there." The interview was conducted to promote the release of Heinsbroek's first novel, which is titled Shadow Minister and deals with intrigue in the government. Now 80-year-old Eva Mozes is the poster child for forgiveness, making peace with everyone who's ever hurt her, and that also includes the Nazis. Eva and sister Miriam were one of the 200 sets of twins who survived out of the almost 1,500 sets selected for experimentation. "I realized that the guinea pig had the power to forgive the god of Auschwitz," she said. "I had the power to forgive. No one could give me the power or take it away from me. I refused to be a victim, and now I am free." Days after publishing her essay, Eva received an email from Rainer Hoss, the grandson of Auschwitz commander Rudolf Hoss, who said he wanted to meet her in person and give her a hug. They finally met last July at Auschwitz. Eva was immediately fascinated by Reiner's intelligence, bravery, and kindness, and impressed by the fact that even though he grew up surrounded by evil, he'd managed to turn out a decent human being. Horst has since asked Eva to become his adoptive grandmother, and she has decided to accept his offer. I'm proud to be his grandmother. I admire and love him. He had the need of love from a family he never had. Horst broke all contact with his family in 1985 and has said that if his grandfather had a grave, he would have urinated on it. Eva's fascinating life story is featured in the latest edition of Vice magazine. The 2015 Genesis Prize recipient is iconic Jewish actor Michael Douglas. He's only the second recipient. The first one was former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. The $1 million award that recognizes individuals who have contributed greatly to Jewish culture around the world will be given out on June 18th, with Douglas in presence in Jerusalem. Handing out the prize will be Israeli Prime Minister, whoever that might be by then, and Jewish Agency Chairman Natan Sharansky. And before we go, here are some highlights for this weekend on JBS and jbstv.org. At 6 p.m. Eastern, JBS will broadcast the live Shabbat services from Central Synagogue in New York. And at 9 p.m. Eastern, we will air the John Moriner-directed feature documentary, Beyond Eruv, telling the story of a 20-year-old Hasidic Jew who decides to stray from his community and become secular. This concludes this edition of the JBS News Update. On Monday, Tisha Bader will be back at this desk. I'm Ron Jacobsohn, wishing you from all of us here at JBS, Shabbat Shalom and a pleasant weekend.